Hello everybody, my name is Ricky LAVAUGHN, author of the book Repeat Offender. This particular video blog, we're going to go over the idea and also the reasons behind writing this particular book, kind of like the maturation and the growth of it. One of the first things that I like to say is that the initial idea did come from someone who would if someone needed a kidney transplant, and then from there it just kind of stemmed out. There's some other stuff, but I don't want to go too deep into it, only because it's actually in the story. So if I just start sprouting off other ideas, it'd be like, oh, so that's what's going to actually happen. So, but there are some other things where it was like a kidney transplant, and then there was some other things where it was like, well, what if this happened and this over here? And then you start putting ideas together. In actuality, a Repeat Offender was more or less a combination of various groups of stories, and they all kind of like just meshed into one. One thing I did absolutely want to be able to do was write a novella. Now this was actually done on purpose because When Roses Cry previous to this was done years before. In between some of that time and also writing at the exact same time was Foundation of Fire. In the beginning was written around about the same time as Repeat Offender. So it's like there was some non-fiction stuff going on. We're doing inspirational stuff. Kind of wanted to just be able just to write just a fictional story. Even though there's some inspirational stuff in this, this is more like how When Roses Cry is. Where like, yeah, there's some stuff in there, but it's not like how Foundation of Fire, even how Golden Image even ended up becoming as well. Now the one thing about Repeat Offender, that so because it is novella, it's small. It's only like 140 something pages. No, it's not very long at all. So for all those who like, I want to read, but I don't want to have to spend all day or all week or whenever, this is actually the perfect book for you. Now that particular detail, being able to write it like that, that was actually done on purpose. Wanted to be able to keep it short. By keeping it short, that also meant that the chapters were kept short. One thing that's really unique about this book is that each chapter is supposed to be a different hour in the life of the main character who is actually telling the story. It's not exact in that it's like, this is 1 o'clock, this is 2 o'clock, but it's like within the 2 o'clock time, within the 3 o'clock time. And initially, only some of those chapters wasn't even in the book. What happened, I was like, well, this doesn't really make sense to have gaps like this. So I had to get really creative as far as how do you fill in the gaps and still make stuff interesting. That was a lot of fun. That was really interesting. A lot of brainstorming ideas, sitting out. What other characters can you add? One of my favorite characters in the story, it's who's like a secondary character. But I was like, well, how can I get him right back in there? Figured out how to put him in more than just 1 or 2 scenes that he was in there. So it was a lot of fun to be able to put this book together. One other thing about putting this book together that it has is written in first person. Want to do something a little different. Most of the time whenever I write stuff is usually third person point perspective. This is so that way I'm able to get to delve into the minds of several characters. If the story needs to expand, you can do that. You can actually be able to write as far as different characters' points of view. Because the one thing about writing in first person is that it should be all from as though that character is telling the story. Well, that also means that there's a lot of stuff that they don't know. They don't know what's going on over here. They don't know what's happening else over here. They can't read other people's minds. Because of that, so there's some limitations. But it is also a lot of fun. So writing in first person, coming up with this creative story idea, new way of being able to write, I have to admit I had a lot of fun writing on Repeat Offender. But it all started with what I was saying, what if someone had kidney issues and really needed kidney, and then some other stuff happened? That's all it came from. Alright, thank you so much. Make sure to get a copy of your book today, Repeat Offender. It's available everywhere, paperback and also in ebook versions. People, like I said, tell me they absolutely love it. They love being able to go through it. And it's like it keeps building because each hour something is happening. Something's happening. It's very realistic, but how this character interacts with people, absolutely, absolutely amazing. Like I said, you can actually read a free chapter online at LAVAUGHN.com/repeatoffender, and even on Amazon.com. They actually have a part of the book that's for free up there. You just click on that little cover thing, and it's right there for you. Alright, anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for your support.